main objective in Toblerone's chocolate. Firstly, the process of how the Toblerone's chocolate were made. By this, we can learn about how they developed their own chocolate from scratch. Also, we can learn about the process that is involved in chocolate making. Secondly, the Toblerone's own capitalization on inherent originality and boldness. As we all know, Toblerone has its own unique taste, flavor, and also its own looks. This makes Toblerone stand out more than the other chocolate brands. Thirdly, Toblerone helps companies and local sellers achieve their business and marketing goals, as Toblerone is a worldwide known brand. Lastly, Toblerone shows leadership in casual gifting. Toblerone is suitable as a present or a gift, and it is one of the most highly requested brands.
Hello everybody, so today I just want to share with you guys about the background of Toblerone chocolate. So let's begin. At 1868, Jean Tobler owned his confectionery shop in Bern, Switzerland, producing chocolate confectionery from the products supplied by the manufacturers. At 1899, demand for Tobler's chocolate product was so great that Jean Tobler founded a chocolate factory of his own and established the Fabrique de Chocolat Bern Tobler NC. At 1908, after discovering white nugget, Theodore Tobler, which is Jean Tobler's son, and Emil Blumen, Theodore Tobler's cousin, invent a unique chocolate bar, and its name is Toblerone. Its special recipe, triangular shape, and instantly recognizable logo made it decent. At 1964, Toblerone is a featured attraction at the New York World's Fair and then in the Expo in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. 3 years later in 1967. In 1969, Toblerone now becomes available in a bittersweet, dark chocolate, and variety. At 1970, the Matterhorn, Switzerland's highest and most famous mountain, appears on the packaging on the two triangles at both ends. At 2008, Toblerone celebrates its 100th anniversary.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I want to talk about the process of making Toblerone chocolate. This one. Firstly, there are two parts that making this chocolate different from other chocolate. That is the chocolate and nougat candy that filling inside the chocolate. Ingredient used for making the chocolate is cocoa bean, sugar and milk. For nougat candy, ingredients that being used are sugar, honey, white egg, and almond. For making the chocolate, cocoa beans are roasted until it turns dark brown. This first step is important to sterilize the cocoa bean by heating, since the fermentation contains yeast, lactic acid bacteria, acetic acid bacteria, and other bacillus species that are responsible for cocoa fermentation process that may harm consumers' health. Next, the cocoa beans are peeled, crushed, and grinded until it turns into liquid chocolate. The liquefaction of the cocoa bean are caused by the presence of chocolate butter that already existed inside the cocoa bean. This step is important to liquefy the powder without any addition of water. It gives glossiness and hardness to the chocolate. Then, the sugar and milk powder are added into the chocolate, then stirred well. This will make the chocolate sweeter and tastier. For making the nougat pieces, firstly they heat up honey. For making the nougat pieces, firstly they heat up honey. This process will make honey to lose its viscosity, so it will make other ingredients easier to mix with honey. Then warm water that have been mixed with sugar poured into the warm honey. Then in separated bowl, egg white whipped to create a whipped cream. This is because the protein in the egg whites to stretch and create bubbles around the water within the whites, causing the egg whites become foamy. Then the honey mix poured into whipped cream and almond also added into the mixes. The mix are cooled down until it hardened, and the hardened nougat chocolate are crushed into small pieces. At the end, the nugget pieces inserted into the chocolate and molded into customized mold case. The chocolate are packaged by aluminium foil. The reason why chocolate are wrapped in the foil instead of plastic is mainly because the foil protects the chocolate from exposure to air, light and moisture that may affect the quality of the chocolate. That's all for me. Thank you.
The problem that occur in manufacturing Toblerone. So the problem that always occurs is when the cocoa beans are overbaked and beyond the fixed time. It is probably because high temperatures like 160 degrees Celsius cause burnt and bitter taste in the cocoa beans that were evidenced in the chocolate samples. The bitter taste continued to increase at a high temperature of 170 degrees Celsius with increasing roasting time. Certain compounds such as alkaloids and methylpyrazine were detected in roasted cocoa beans after exceeding the time and temperature of roasting or as a sign of overroasting. However, the study showed that roasting at 120 degrees Celsius for 50 minutes produced greater cocoa flavor, lower sour taste, and astringency. Compounds responsible for the aroma are methylpyrazines and nitrogen heterocyclic, substance formed during the roasting process responsible for the respective sweet and strong cocoa aroma. Xanthine alkaloids, namely caffeine and the theobromine, are responsible for the bitter taste of the cocoa bean. Other than that, cocoa beans as a raw product are contaminated to a high degree bacteriologically. So, uncritical and harmless bacterial strains can be found. On the other hand, cocoa beans carry also dangerous pathogenic germs on the surface. To eliminate this health risk to consumer of cocoa products, cocoa beans must be sterilized. This is done by treating the beans with saturated steam and under a special reaction pressure. Since steam condensation takes place during sterilization with saturated steam, moisture is introduced into the beans. During the following roasting process of the beans, the total moisture must be reduced to create intensive roasting aromas. Any additional moisture in the beans will have a negative influence on the flavor development because the aroma components will be attached to the water molecules and will be extracted during the steam distillation from the beans. To prevent this, the CBSS sterilization system with integrated preheating of the bean was developed. From the experiment on sterilization and aroma in cocoa beans, it is known that the flavor is significantly better when water absorption during sterilization is minimized. This effect is brought about by the new combined preheating and sterilization system CBSS. Low water absorption during reliable sterilization means best aroma development during roasting. Changes in the shape of Toblerone in 2016. The difference between the old and the new shape of Toblerone are subtle but not difficult to spot. The new Toblerone is much smaller than its predecessor, weighing approximately 150 grams or 5 ounce versus 170 grams or 6 ounce. The gaps between the pieces are also much wider and the triangles much smaller than the original, thus giving the appearance of less chocolate while the size of packaging has remained the same. And of course, some of the consumer of Toblerone complains about that, but they still like it as there are no change in the ingredient making process. However, other consumers praise the company for making a public announcement on the changes.
In the conclusion, Toblerone chocolate is not easy to make. The quality of the chocolate depends on the process and the ingredient of chocolate making. For example, the cocoa bean must be sterilized by heating, since the bean contains yeast and bacteria that may harm consumers' health. The cocoa must be peeled, crushed, and grinded so the chocolate looks smooth, easily hardened, looking moist and glossier, and most important, easy to eat. They are also the one who created the unique recipe consisting of milk chocolate, including nougat, almond, and honey. Since 1970s, they have been selling these variants: plain chocolate, white chocolate, snow top, field edition, one by one, Toblerone, pralines, fruit and nut, honeycomb crisp, crunchy salted almond, vinaigrette, and the Toblerone Tobel. Even though there's a lot of problems involved in Toblerone chocolate making, Toblerone brand remains as one of the most anticipated and successful chocolate brands throughout the years. They still kept their chocolate iconic, in good quality, even though their process is much more harder than other chocolate brands. They used rich Swiss dark chocolate, savory honey, and crunchy almond nougat, which the Toblerone signature chocolate bar, which is full of high-quality ingredients to satisfy the taste of even the most discerning consumers.